Hi everyone, my name is Palesa Madumo, convener of the PRISM Awards, Africa's most sought after public relations award. I am also your host for a very special 10-part series called Byline, brought to you by PRISA as well as the PRISM Awards. Throughout this series, I'll be chatting to industry thought leaders and discussing great campaigns, their insights on important and not so important things that happen within our industry, and what we can do to challenge ourselves and be better. Follow at the PRISM Awards on Twitter. Send us your comments and your questions. You can tag me and my guest as well. So our guest today is industry veteran, Boniswa Pezisa. She is a business leader, a community leader, a social entrepreneur, and an activist. She's also a Lourie's Hall of Fame inductee and a past chairperson of the Lourie's. Boniswa, welcome to the show. So, Boniswa, you have recently made the move from Group CEO of Network BBDO into a brand new venture. I'm very interested to know, what can you share with us about your 24 years experience over there?
Oh, what a thrill. It's been 24 years of absolute joy, of absolute growth, of working with the best in the business, of being stimulated and inspired and challenged at the same time. So I've been Network's been generous to me, and the organization is truly a creative incubation for anyone who really wants to do the best. It is the place to go. As you know, in our name we have network, the word work. And work is our mantra. That's what we care about. So we have a saying, we had a saying that says, at Network we only care about one thing or three things. It's the work, the work, the work. And the work is what touches the consumer. It's what brings the strategy alive. It's actually what elevates and amplifies the brand. And that's really the gist of what the place was about or is about. And therefore, everything at Network focuses on that. Our values, our culture, the way we inspire, we lead people, the way we work and interact with clients. That's what it was all about. And I really do believe it's prepared me for this day. I'm a graduate of this moment. Fantastic. And I really believe I graduated with colors. I've loved it.
Fantastic. I love the fact that, you know, the word work is in the name. Yeah. I wanted to find out from you, with the focus on work from a culture perspective that you've experienced, what would you say, how would you say work has changed in COVID times? You know, how you produce work, not just at Network, but just generally in the industry?
Look, COVID has accelerated a lot of thinking and the way we do things. We will, as an industry, as a sector, we will never be the same. But we've got some great tools in terms of working remote and doing things differently and turning things around very, very quickly with impossible challenges. And when there's an impossibility and you thrive beyond it, you're better than that. So there are some quality issues where we had to deal with them, but find a way around that. And so we had a campaign for one of the clients where we really needed to produce a television campaign during that high period of COVID. We did a casting via WhatsApp. It works. You see what I'm saying? Yes. And you had to do that. You really have to think on your toes. Once we've done that and we've done the casting, we start picking on people. So to do it better, for the first time, you brought strategy into the room to assist with the casting, because they know the psyche of the target audience you're looking for. So it brought a new way of collaboration between creative production as well as a strategic department. So for me, there are some great moments that have come out of this period. And yes, they're challenging times. Budgets are very, very thin, and you have to do more with less. And again, that's all about creativity.
Fantastic. Yeah. Tell me, what have been some of your favorite campaigns over the last decade?
I will mention Vijayana Varsity.
Yes.
Limited budget, breakthrough campaign in every sense of the moment, and challenging the status quo. That was one of my favorite campaigns. It will be favorite campaign of all time. There are campaigns, so Mercedes-Benz, the return to Chapman's Peak, also love that, just to the storytelling of that and the nostalgia, and yet bringing in the today's moment and the technology is quite phenomenal. We did quite a few really groundbreaking stuff on Mercedes, which was fantastic. We also did a campaign in Kenya, of all places, for Tuskalaga, where really the campaign, instead of starting with a big TV ad, started in the bar, because the job of work was to increase sales and increase volume. And so we started right where people need to be. So those are some of my best campaigns that we've done in the past 10 years.
Absolutely. And speaking of, sorry, what was the vagina campaign again?
Libresse, the brand was Libresse, and the campaign was Vagina Varsity.
Yes, I remember Vagina Varsity, and I want to focus just a little bit on that and the importance of doing important social work,
Yes.
As an agency, and not, obviously we've all got to look at profits and how you can bring in money, but how important is it to have important social work within your portfolio?
Oh, it's critical. So again, a blessing at Network. We were blessed to have social responsibility work from day dot. So we were doing work for Planned Parenthood, and that introduced a culture of responsibility in the organization. That introduced a culture of caring for others and knowing that we are not bigger than the sum of the parts. Society is important. So we did societal work from day dot. And as you could see over the years, purpose and intention became an ingrained part of all the work that we did at Network.
I absolutely love that. Let's talk a little bit about leadership now. How important is it to be transparent as a leader? And just on the back of what you've just said, caring about people, considering COVID and how it's affected our lives personally, how important is it to be transparent and open as a leader?
I think the time for COVID, or this period or this season that we are in, is a season of empathy. It demands empathy from leaders. It demands authenticity, and it also demands courage. Because when you're courageous, you will be vulnerable where you need to be vulnerable, and you will lead from the front. And because, I love you as my boss, and I adore you, you're my mentor and all of those amazing things, but I don't know if I would have invited you to my house. And now, in this period, you're barging into my house. You didn't just, I didn't invite you, you're barging into my house. So come in with respect. So it's bringing those things where we really have to respect one another. We have to have an understanding, where as leaders, as you are talking to your teams and listening, you've got to be very, very present, and be present and watch the tone, watch the body language to go, oh, I don't think Boniswa was herself. And therefore, after the meeting, try and find a moment to really check, are you okay? Because the psyche is frailed at the moment with everything that we are dealing with. And then you go, I noticed on her table today there was a candle. What is the significance of that? Without prying, do it with respect. And also, if I don't want to talk about it, give me the space in the room to engage with it, so that when I'm ready, your door is open. So you're now becoming a safe container for our lives, for the business, for the client's business. So also in terms of the strategic planning of the company and your risk management, you're no longer just managing your company, you're managing all the risk that comes with the suppliers. So you need to know the well-being of your suppliers. So collaboration is critical and is broader and very important. And so leaders, I will say at the moment, we're leading through interesting times. And yeah, the word unprecedented times has been bandied around for far too long. And yet, the beauty of that, it's bringing the humanity in us. I was mentioning to somebody earlier, we talk about the concept of Ubuntu in South Africa a lot. this is the time for Ubuntu. So that greeting, yesiZulu, sawubona, is the richest salutation you can get. The issue is, can we use it in its fullest sense to care for one another, to grow one another, to embrace one another and put that emotional blanket on each other. Yeah, so it's a period of emotional grit at this stage.
It absolutely is. And you are branching into executive coaching.
Yes.
Which I feel there's a direct link between what you've been doing for most of your career and what you're venturing into. I would say that link is even communication. It's how we communicate and all these things we talk about when we talk about communication. What is the reason you are making this move, and is it linked to what you've known all your life?
It's, you know, coaching comes from leadership anyway. That's where it comes from. When I made this decision to exit, I wanted to do what is fulfilling for me. I love and adore watching people transform. And so coaching felt like the right thing to do, and the next step and the natural step to get into. And coaching really is guiding people, is helping people achieve their goals, really. And you become the container, the conduit for them to get there. So yeah, that's really the reason I've gone into it. And so far, so good and brilliant. And I'm meeting interesting people, dynamic people. And there's nothing for me that's always been satisfying than watch someone succeed. So I love that, and that's what this is about. Coach people to be the best they were created to be.
Fantastic, and good luck with that. I
Thank
think it
you.
sounds like
Thank
you'll
you.
be fabulous in
Thank you.
that role. I also just wanted to touch on the highs and lows of the industry that you mentioned a little bit earlier. What would you say currently are the industry's highs and lows? And I mean that in the sense of improvement. Where is there room for improvement? What can we do better in the next 5 to 10 years?
I'll start with the lows. And the lows are us betraying ourselves and betraying who we are. So yes, budgets are very, very tight. And so as a community, as a tribe, and what I mean by that, because my client's success is my success. So, and client can't succeed without me. Instead of getting into the room and really engaging and understanding with one another, the relationships are driven by fear. If you don't do it, I'll get another agency. That's not what it's about. That's not success. And no one is going to thrive through that. And I wish we can all just get fear out of the room and really engage about the real things and the real work and build and rebuild our economy together. We need each other to build the economy. And so I'm not a supplier, I'm a partner. Collaborate with me, work with me, be transparent with me, because when I know everything, I bring my ace into the room. So for me, that's the challenge, and I wish we could get out of that sooner than later so that we can move forward and rebuild our economy and rebuild our businesses. So that's that one part. The upside is technology has been phenomenal, okay, in the sense that it's taught us things we would not have thought about doing. As I mentioned to you, we did casting for a TV commercial via WhatsApp. So that's something we could carry forward. And where it helps client, it does cut down on cost at a certain level. What it does, it brings the teams together. So we're much more stronger as a team. We collaborate better. We know our clients better. We know what will work better. That part is really great. However, the jury's out about the office. Because remember, especially in what we do, we are team people. And so the isolation has emotional scars, I do think. And so that's where, again, the role of the leader needs to come in. How do we keep our teams, not individuals, inspired? How do we keep teamwork? How do we keep team spirit and inspiration during this time when people are all fragmented, wherever they are. And we need to find those strategies to really rebuild our winning teams. Otherwise, we are really, really fragmenting. Yes, the real estate business is challenged at the moment. There's got to be ways around that. And I think where, for me, leadership as a whole is failing us, because I wish our government was open enough to really sit around the table and let's come up with solutions around these things, because while one sector of the industry is failing, the economy is going down. We need holistic and collective solutions that we can really work together. So collective wisdom is what is required at this time. And that is a concern. And I know government has got a lot to deal with. But there's got to be, if we don't have those strategic sessions now, when are we going to have them? And I think it's a missed opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everything you've said is absolutely true and spot on. You know, collective wisdom is exactly what's needed at the moment. What would you say is what creates staying power for an agency? Having an agency that's been operating for such a long time, having come from one, what would you say, particularly for startups, is what creates staying power?
Be who you are. As a human being, as an individual, always be who you are. Because when you are who you are, you get clarity on where you are going. So as an agency, be authentic and be true to yourself and build values that are about truth and self-love. So when I say self-love, the organization really has to have self-love. I think this is an era of empathy and love at this stage, and we need to bring that to the forefront. So as leaders of organization, as leaders of our own tiny institutions, we need to bring that to the forefront and lead with heart.
Love it. Boniswa Pezisa, thank you very much for what has been an inspirational conversation.
You're most welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me, and I'm excited to judge PRISM in 2021 again.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're excited to have you.
Yeah. Oh, it's an interesting part of communication, because then it just loops the whole thing for us. And this is the most important time for public relations, for this kind of communications. This is the time.
Exactly. I'm actually looking forward to the campaigns, because there's even that focus on COVID campaigns. Just to see how people have solved problems for clients is going to be fascinating.
Absolutely.
So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
That's it for this episode of Byline, Boniswa Pezisa. Follow the series right here. Don't forget to like and comment below. And we really hope that we've left you with something to think about in terms of building our industry. Remember, wherever you are in the continent, to enter the PRISM Awards 2021. More information on www.prism-awards.co.za. Now, Oprah Winfrey once said, "The biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams." So, go ahead. Goodbye.